Welcome back, everybody. Did you know that if you're RVing, there's about an 85% chance that you're ruining your plumbing right now? And if you're moving around, camping in different locations, different states, there's probably about a 100% chance. So stick around and I'll show you how to solve that problem. So I'm going to put this map on the screen here. If you're in one of these blue zones, this video is extremely relevant to you. The blue zones are the hard water. The darker the blue, the harder the water. So let me show you what this hard water does to your pipes. But look at this. We've only been here for a couple of months. See that? See that? That's dripping out of my pipe there, my hose. And this is before I got the water softener. So that shows you in a short amount of time, once that stuff gets inside your pipes, it starts closing the pipe in more and more and more. And eventually you'll have to replumb your RV. Replumbing an RV is probably not something that most of us could even do or would want to do, and it would be extremely expensive and extremely hard to do. But with the water softener, you can solve that problem. I'll prove it for you. I'm going to show you the results before and after our water softener. So let me show you the setup that we have for our water, because this is really important. First of all, we're in a cold climate, so it freezes. So we have to have, we have heat tape on this. This is some separate heat tape that I bought for this short water hose here that just goes to the, this is my water softener. And the reason why I have it in a bag is because this thing costs, and a towel wrapped around it, this thing costs $300. So I didn't want somebody to steal it, so it just looks like a bag of trash sitting here like this. So, and inside of here, I got some tape wrapped around. I really don't want to undo it. I've got this heat tape. I got 12 feet of it. So the heat tape wraps around underneath this towel, wraps around my whole water softener, and keeps it from freezing. And it goes up around the top here, so it's got a temperature gauge on it over here. So whenever it gets below freezing, it'll activate the heat tape. So the small hose from here into the water softener, and it goes through the water softener, and then from there it goes into the RV. But this is our heated water hose, which is a must-have if you're going to be RVing in the wintertime. It's got you can see the heat tape kind of inside there, but it keeps it really really warm. So the heat tape is a must-have in the wintertime, but all the time a water softener is a necessity. So I'm going to turn off the water. So the water goes in here. There's beads inside of here. The beads are negatively charged, I think. So they have a negative charge or positive, one of the two. And then the minerals, the hardness in the water, those beads attract it. So it attracts to the beads and provides soft water on the other end going into the RV. Some people say to put this close to the RV, like the water softener, but the reason why I didn't is because this heated hose is expensive, and I wanted the water going into the heated hose to be treated. Because let me show you what it looks like for an expensive heated hose to get ruined with this hard water. So I don't know if you can see or not, but see it down inside the hose there? See how white it is in there? That's calcium or something like that. It's hard water, and it was closing in on the pipe, making it smaller and smaller. And this is just after a few months. I think this was 3 or 4 months, the person that used this. So, and then when you tighten it up, it leaks now because it's got so much, hardness inside there. It drips, so it's not really usable. And these things aren't cheap. The heated hoses, if you priced them, they're not cheap. The type of heat tape that I use for the small hose and also for the water softener is just something I bought on Amazon. I mean, I don't know, you can find all kinds of heat tape, but this one's pretty good. And you can get it by the foot, so I got 12 feet, which was plenty. Actually, 15 or 20 feet have been a little bit better, because by the time you wrap it around the water softener, you kind of need a little bit more than you might think. But this is the water softener that I got. It's called On The Go. You can find these on Amazon too. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description below for this particular one that I bought. I don't have any affiliation, no affiliate links or whatever. I'll just put it there so you can buy it if you want it or look into it. But I highly recommend it. So let me show you the proof. So the water softener comes with test strips. So you'll be able to tell. You get the strips out of the inside, you dip it in the water, and then it gives you a gauge there to compare it to. So I'll show you right out of the tap what it looks like. Then I'm gonna go inside the RV and show you the treated version of the same water. Ooh.
Ooh.
Man.
Why does it look so nasty?
Ugh. You think that's hard? Wow. Okay, that's why you have water filters. Let's get a little bit more. But that's why you have the sediment filters, because that's bad. Now it's finally got some of the minerals out of the water here. So I'll just show you right here. Put that there. Here's my test strips. So what you do is you put it in there for about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Look how dark that is. So you take it over here and you compare it. It's pretty much the second from the end there, I think, or between the two, which is extremely, very, very hard water, as you can see there. So that's all those minerals. So you can see it's probably that one there. That's hard water. So let me go inside and show you what it looks like on the inside. So I'm getting water straight out of the tap here. This is run to the filter already. There's the other test strip, but I'm putting in here. 1, 2, 3. Now you can see the difference. This is way down here. Could be the first or second one. It's hard to tell sometimes. I think it's the first one. But it's very, very soft water. That's all the minerals and everything are removed from the water. Nearly, pretty much all of them. So that right there is all the proof you need, really. Another advantage of having a water softener is that you'll use a lot less soap. The suds, hard water just kills suds. So it takes a little bit more laundry soap, a little bit more hand soap, a little bit more bath soap, shower gel and stuff like that, shampoo. You'll notice a lot more suds in your water, and your skin will feel softer and everything. Personally, I get kind of flaky. My skin gets flaky in the hard water, and I never really knew what it was, but that's what it is. Because whenever I have the softener put in, I don't get near as many flakes, hardly any. So, but another thing that we use, we have a 2-stage water filter. I use a 5 micron first to catch some of the harder sediments, the bigger particles, and then a 1 micron charcoal filter. So I need to change those out. The last time they were changed out was, I wrote it down, back in April. That's way too long. You should do these every 3 to 6 months. So I'm going to change these out. And another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to tend to my water heater because I need a new anode rod, so I'm going to put that in. So I'll show you how I do that. And then a pressure relief valve, because the water heater drips. As you'll see, there's a big pile of ice back there where it just drips over a period of time. It just keeps freezing more and more and more. So, and that uses propane because we have a propane water heater, so it just keeps having to heat the water. It may just be a little bit, but it's a little bit over a long period of time, ends up costing you some money. So I'm going to change the pressure relief valve out too. So I'll show you how to do that. So, like I said, look at the water on the ground that's frozen over here. That's from slow drips. That's pretty crazy. And then see all that white chalky stuff? That's, I guess, calcium from all the hard water dripping out of there before we got our water softener. So there's my big particle catcher. That's where this one goes. The 5 micron, and the 1 micron I put over here on this side is the final stage that it goes through before it goes into the RV pipes. So look at that. It's supposed to be white, so it catches all the iron and all that stuff in the water. Whenever you're doing these, if you have these systems, there's a rubber O-ring right there, and it falls out sometimes. You just got to make sure that stays in there when you change these out. So I just dump it all out like that. So just put the new one in there. There's a, see that on the bottom, there's a little circle. You kind of need to keep the circle sort of in the middle so it will seat right. So you can feel it when it goes in there. And then you just keep it, you know, try not to let it flop around like that. Try to keep it straight up so you can match back up in here where you need to. And just make sure your rubber O-ring is still in place. And then you got these wrenches. These things usually come with one of these. That'll help you tighten it back up. This one's just, it's charcoal, so it's not gonna look any different. But whenever you put a new charcoal filter in, you need to rinse it out for 2 or 3 minutes. Just let the water run to get the extra charcoal that's in the system. It'll just kind of flush it out so you don't get it in your water on the inside. So the same thing, you just try to make sure you keep it over the center part in there. Keep it in the center of your thing as you're screwing it back in. But once again, so once you change out a charcoal filter, you need to run the water for, I'd say 3 to 5 minutes to flush out the extra charcoal particles. That's just a good thing to do. I don't think it'll hurt you any, but you know, it's just a good idea to flush it out. Also, don't forget to put the date, write it on something. What I usually do is I write it on the box where the filters come in, because I buy like a 4-pack of each one, and it has a picture of the, I'll show you what it looks like. So like this, you know, I just write it on there whenever I changed it out last, and pretty simple. So now on to the address the water heater issue. Now we haven't changed out the anode rod, and I'm not sure if the previous owner did. I'm not sure if anybody did. And this is a 1999 rig, so there may not be an anode rod left. If you didn't know, an anode rod, here's what it looks like. They got aluminum. This one's aluminum. I'm not sure what the other one's made out of, but there's another one you could buy that I think maybe lasts a little bit longer. Not really sure which one's the best one. So I just got this one because this is the one that was in here. So the anode rod goes here. Goes right there. This is the new one. And here's the end of it. So I gotta unscrew that one, take it out, and put this one in. And oh, also, I'm going to be changing out the pressure relief valve, because look at that. That right there shows you how hard the water is too. See it dripping there? It just slowly drips inside there. And that's what came out and made all that ice. But it's been doing this for a while. I turned the hot water off. I turned the propane off to it a little while back so that it would be not hot water flowing out of here and scald me. So the water's cooled down. The water's turned off, and then now I can do my work on the water heater. So what I meant earlier about there may not be an anode rod left inside the tank, because the job of the anode rod is kind of to prevent the water from corroding your tank. So if it's been in here a long time, there probably won't even be a rod left. It'll just be maybe a little nub or something. We'll see. But we don't know. We haven't changed it, so it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like. And this is an 1 and a 1/16 socket. Hopefully it comes out. Ooh. Some weird funk coming out of there. Let me get out of the way because it's going to spew out. Oh, well, there is an anode rod left, but looks pretty terrible. Wow, look at all that garbage coming out of there. So there is a little rinsing wand, kind of a tip that you buy for a water hose that will reach inside there and rinse it out. I don't have one of those, so I may just have to let some water flow through there to let it kind of rinse itself out really good. because I want it to be as clean as it can be before I put the new anode rod back in there. So you can see the before and after. It's crazy. So I'm going to put some Teflon tape on this so it don't leak, and I'm going to put this back in, and then I'm going to change out the pressure relief valve so it'll quit dripping. So when you're putting Teflon tape on something, if you look at the threads, it goes, if you're looking down at the threads, it goes clockwise. And I'll show you why, because anyway, you just put this on here a couple of times, 3 or 4 wraps. Because when you go clockwise, so when I screw it in, see, because it goes this way, so whenever I screw it in there, it's not gonna unravel your tape. So it's gonna go in that way, and that's why you wrap the tape clockwise if you're looking at the threads. So that's just an old trick I learned a long time ago doing plumbing. Just kind of a way to tell which way to wrap it. Because like I said, if you wrapped it the other way, when you go to tighten it up, it'll unravel your tape, and you don't want that. And the tough part is trying to get these threads going, because the weight of the rod itself, you got to make sure you're not cross threading it. You got to kind of hold the weight of the rod up while you're starting the threads. And they got kind of big threads, so it may be a little bit easier than smaller threads. Oh yeah, that's good. So it's not cross threaded. I really don't know how tight it needs to be. I don't want to go too tight with it, because I want to be able to get it out next time. So now that that's done, there were 4 screws holding this thing. This is to, I guess, protect the flame inside of here. It's a propane heater. So I already took the 4 screws out to get that out of the way, because I need this area clear so I can get this out of here. So I've been at this for about 30 minutes trying to get this pressure relief valve off. Let me show you what I did to it. Kind of got it all gnarled up there, all bent up, and I twisted it so it's loose now, but I had to put some penetrating spray, some liquid wrench. I had to put some of that in there and let it sit for a few minutes, and I also had to heat it up around the base where the screws go in, where the threads go in. And even then it was still holding on really well, so I let it sit for a few more minutes, and finally it broke loose and came out. So kind of freaked me out a little bit, because if I had that so screwed up that I think that I had it for sure messed up where water was just going to flow out of it, and if I couldn't get it out, then we'd be without a water heater until we ordered another one. And like I said, these things are $500 or $600, so I'm glad I was able to get it out. So just be aware that you're probably going to need a big pipe wrench, and if you stick anything inside, somewhere online somebody said you can take a adjustable wrench, a crescent wrench, and stick it in the threads, like close it up, close it up really small and stick it in there in that part. It's hard to see, but, and then I can't do it from this angle, but basically these threads were down here, so you stick it on there and then turn it, but then the threads broke, because that's brass, and brass is a weaker metal, so I broke the threads. Not that that's a big deal, because I'm not going to attach any hose to that or anything, but just be aware that if you use that method, you're probably going to break that. So I think it's better to use a pipe wrench. So let's see if I can get this all the way off. I got some other wrench here. I can just grab a hold of it. It'd be better if they put like a socket type of a fitting on the end, so you could just put a socket on there and pop it off. That'd be a better design, seeing that brass is such a weak metal. So there's the old one. See how I messed it all up? I had to get all that going, and here's the new one. So much better. So I'm going to put Teflon tape on these threads like I did the other one, and then I'm going to put it back in. I just got to check and make sure that it's not going to leak, because I probably could crank it around one more turn, but I'm not real sure, so I don't really want to try it. So I'm just going to leave it at that and test it and see what happens. So now I just have to put this back on, the cover. So now I need to turn the water back on and test it all out, make sure everything works good. Oh, we got one of these here too. It shows how many gallons we've done per month. Since we've had it put in on the 1st of January, I'm sorry, the 1st of December, we've used 847.5 gallons of water. And ever so often on the water softener, you have to kind of what they call recharge them. I think that's what you call it. So what you do is you just add table salt in there. So, and then you flush it out, and it doesn't make your water salty. It just recharges the particles inside the water softener, and it keeps it going for you that way. So I'm gonna turn the gas back on and let the water heater heat back up and make sure there's no leaks or anything. So to wrap the video up, I want to show you this map again. The map is really important. This is where all the hard water is, the hardest water. It shows you basically across the whole country. So if you know somebody that's camping in those spots or goes to those spots to camp, they really need a water softener. And so I'll put a link to the water softener and everything that I used in the description below. But please share this video with your friends that RV in those areas. So if you learned anything from this video and you found it to be helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with your friends that RV, and hopefully we can help them out too. So until next time, live in the sunshine.